Welcome back, familiar, to NorthsideLDN Caramba. And today we've got news that Arsenal can beat and have beaten Chelsea to sign Osimhen. Chelsea, their agreement has fallen through, and Arsenal are in prime position to sign Osimhen, the Napoli striker, with this headline coming out right now in One Football. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Make sure you're hitting the bell notification. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff, familia. So you're always notified every day, 8 a.m., 1 p.m., 10 p.m. about all the latest news and stories and players surrounding Arsenal. So make sure you do all of that. Make sure you do all of that. Now, let's get straight into it. This headline, Arsenal could sign £212,000 a week star with 17 goals. Chelsea failed to agree terms, Sky Sports reporter says. Listen, let's get straight into this. Osimhen, the Napoli striker. Arsenal have the upper hand over Chelsea in the race to sign Napoli striker Victor Osimhen, according to Sky Sports reporter Damasio. The Gunners are on the search for a marquee centre forward, and they have been fancied to sign the RB Leipzig Benjamin Sesko in recent days. Let's stop this. Let's stop what's going on. These advertisements, man. Finish that book, that move, man. Anyway, let's keep going. Alongside Sesko, the club has also been credited with an interest in Osimhen, and Damasio claims that they could make an approach for him. Speaking to Sky Sports, the 50-year-old said that Osimhen has a very high salary and Chelsea have not made progress after meeting with his representatives. It goes on to say the Blues have been unable to agree personal terms, but Damasio believes Osimhen could still end up in the Premier League with the Gunners this summer. Damasio said, I think so, even if it's difficult to arrange a deal with his really high exit clause of £130 million. Nobody wants to pay this amount, so Napoli chairman De Laurentiis should ask for less money. He has a very high salary, and that's why Chelsea didn't go forward, because after a meeting with his agent, they didn't find an agreement with the salary. I think he will leave Napoli for less money than the clause. He added on Arsenal, Benjamin Sesko is one of the top targets for Arsenal, but also other clubs like AC Milan. Arsenal will go for a striker, even if Victor Osimhen could be a target. Arsenal need a striker like that. I think Arsenal will be in for one of these important strikers this summer. Meanwhile, in a separate update on his website, Damasio highlighted that Osimhen could also prefer a move to Mikel Arteta's side in the next transfer window. It goes on to say, should Arsenal sign Sesko instead of Osimhen? Osimhen has previously admitted his dream of playing in the Premier League, and Arsenal are probably one of the clubs that can meet his weekly wage demands. The Nigerian star currently earns a base salary of £212,000 per week at Napoli. He could ask in a region of £250,000 to £300,000 per week to make his switch to the Gunners. With Champions League football, Arsenal should be able to meet his salary requirements, but are not convinced over a move due to his tendency to pick up niggles. Osimhen netted 17 goals from 2,474 minutes for Napoli last term, but he missed 10 games due to 4 separate injuries. He's currently out for 4 weeks with a fresh concern. With his unreliable fitness, it does not appear worthwhile to spend a 9-figure transfer sum. Instead, the club should focus on signing Sesko, who is an emerging star with a huge potential. The Slovenian ace netted 18 goals from 2,056 minutes for RB Leipzig last season. The young marksman has been injury-free during his last 2 seasons for the club and country. In comparison to Osimhen, Sesko could be signed for a relatively low fee of $55 million due to a release clause. His salary is also on the lower side at £58,000 per week, and the Gunners could easily persuade him to make the move for around $120,000, $150,000 per week this summer. Now let's get straight into this. let's get straight into this. Osimhen, let me know in the comments down below if you would take him at Arsenal. For me, I saw Osimhen at the AFCON. And for what I saw of him at the AFCON, I don't want this guy. One of the most overhyped strikers out there right now. I'm going to be completely honest. Nigeria, that ultimately lost in the final of the AFCON. For anyone that didn't watch the AFCON. This guy, I'm sorry, he came up against Angola, one of my nations, yeah? Big up all the Angolans, big up to all the Balops. This guy was trash. He had about three one-on-one chances with the goalkeeper, the Angolan goalkeeper. I couldn't even tell you where he plays for, and he couldn't score. He couldn't score against Angolan fishermen. This guy is so overhyped. Yes, the Nigerian team wasn't the best. The way they were set up also was poor. But this guy, even when he dropped in deep, couldn't trap the ball, couldn't hold up the ball, couldn't pass the ball. He was just poor in everything he was doing. He's not necessarily extremely fast. As soon as he's got one or two defenders on him, he looks like he can't get past the defender unless there's space in him behind. I think he's he is a striker that I don't see where he excels. Now, this season for Napoli in Serie A, in 25 appearances in the league, he scored 15 goals and had 3 assists. I'm sorry, another striker that's going to get us 15 goals. No, thank you. When you look at his ability, he's not necessarily technical. He's not a killer in front of goal. He's not a player that can beat a man without space and pace. I just feel like he's a striker that's just been overhyped. I'll be real. I think he's a striker that's been overhyped. I don't see what his amazing attributes are. If you can't score a goal when it's given to you on a plate, 3 chances against Angola in the AFCON. Now, I love my nation, but at the end of the day, Angola in the AFCON is the equivalent to it's equivalent to, I don't know, Burnley in the Premier League. Like, come on. It ain't good enough. And every game I saw him play in the AFCON, I weren't convinced. I'm not convinced that this guy is a gunman, and Arsenal need a proper striker that's going to score and bag goals. Now, I know that there's a lack of world-class strikers that we can get out there, but at the same time, there's better options than this guy. He's going to want £200,000 a week to £300,000 a week. I'm sorry, at that money, I'm expecting quality. I'm expecting a striker that's a killer in front of goal. I'm expecting a striker that's going to take the majority of his chances. I'm expecting a striker that's cold-blooded. And that's just not it. At the end of the day, we've got options. We need quality. We've got Nketiah, we've got Jesus, we've got Havertz. We now need quality. And I don't see that this guy is of the quality to command the money that's around to get him over the line to come to Arsenal. He got a release clause of £130 million. He's not worth that. And then £200,000 to £300,000 a week. Nah, I'm sorry, another overhyped striker that's going to come to the Prem, and for me, it's going to flop. If Chelsea want him, let them have it. Let them have the player. Like, I do not want this guy. I really do not want this guy. I think he's overhyped. And like I said, when I saw him play, I didn't see a gunman in front of goal. That's not the type of player that I saw when I saw him playing. Listen, some people may say, oh yeah, but it was in the AFCON. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, this season, 15 goals in the Italian league. Good luck coming to the Premier League. Good luck coming to the Premier League. You know, because if you're only scoring 15 goals in Serie A, when you come to the Premier League, the game's a lot more physical, bigger, stronger defenders. He's gonna have a long day. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna have a long day in the Premier League. This guy is so overhyped, and he's just not that guy. And I want him to come to the Premier League. I just don't want him to come to Arsenal. And then people will realize why I don't rate this guy. And he doesn't. You know, we've had strikers that excel in different things. Aubameyang was a fox in the box. You give him the ball in the box, and he would bury it. He would bury most of his chances. That's where he excelled. Then we had strikers like Lacazette that isn't a gunman, but excelled in holding up the ball and getting the wingers in the game, dropping in deep and, creating chances for others around him. This guy, I don't see him having any of those attributes. I don't see what this guy is great at. I really don't. I really, really don't. The only position he can play is a centre forward, so you're already limited there. You can't move him around. You can't move him around the pitch because he can only play one position. So you're limited. If he doesn't bang in goals playing as a centre forward, you're limited what he's going to do, and that is exactly why I don't want him. Yeah, people may go on to last season where he scored 26 goals. Well, why this season is he only scoring 15? Like, nah, I'm not impressed, and it doesn't always translate. Darwin Núñez at Benfica was bagging in loads of goals for Benfica. Goes to Liverpool in the Premier League, and they're a team that create an abundance of chances, and he's not done nowhere near the numbers he was putting up at Benfica. So this is the thing with this guy, man. Listen, Napoli don't sell their best players for cheap. If you want one of their players, you're gonna have to sign them up on big wages, a big transfer fee, and it is what it is. That's how Napoli make their money. But for me, I just think this is a striker that we should avoid. I'd still take Ollie Watkins over this guy. I'll take Isak over this guy, and I'll take Ivan Toney over this guy. I'd even take Gyökeres over this guy. I've seen more from Gyökeres as a footballer than I've seen from Osimhen. I'm sorry, this guy is so mad overhyped. But we will see. 25 years old, and you're scoring 15 goals in the Serie A. Nah, not for me. Personally, not for me. I'd pass. I think the wages, what will happen is if Arsenal get him over the line, it's just going to be an expensive mistake, and we're not going to be able to move him on because the wages that we'll put him on, nobody will want to buy him. We're not going to recover the 100 to 130 million pounds that we would spend on him. And I just think there's better options out there. There's smarter options out there. So listen, I don't want Osimhen, and I hope Chelsea get him over the line. I hope he goes to Chelsea, and I'm just more than happy for him to just go to Chelsea. Let me know in the comments down below, familia, where if you would take Osimhen, do you rate him? If you do, why? Let me know. Leave that all down in the comments below. And yeah, Osimhen to Arsenal. Are you happy that the deal looks like it's falling through with Chelsea, with them failing to agree terms? Or would you rather Chelsea come in and buy Osimhen, pay the transfer fee, and him go to Chelsea, and we go and get somebody that's Premier League proven? Let me know in the comments down below, familia. Without further ado, I'm out. Love.